So Copilot for Microsoft 365 available now. And right now, we're going to take a deeper look at what it means for Microsoft 365 admins to get services configured, up and running, and also safely extend them to data that might be sitting outside of Microsoft 365. And for that, I'm joined by Mary Pasch, who's actually on the Copilot team. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. So at its core, Copilot for Microsoft 365 takes your prompt and then it goes to the Microsoft Graph to get additional information that then it can send to the large language model to generate an informed response to your question.
Right, and that's really important in terms of the information that you set up. And the retrieval aspect is something that you can control from an admin perspective. And we have a couple of options there on a few different fronts that you can prepare for as an admin. So first, there's a brand new page that we have in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Right there on the left nav, you'll see the Copilot page heading to get to it. And it does all the different various controls that are related to Copilot for Microsoft 365. Now I'm going to touch on a few of them: data security, public web content, and plugins. And for each of those, basically they link to the right resources and controls there. So for data security and compliance, that's where you can control things like sensitivity labels, data loss prevention policies, retention policies. You can set up audit controls, e-discovery, all of those will be available in that portal. And then from a public web content, you've probably all had the experiences where the large language model isn't trained after a certain cutoff point. The nice thing with grounding from the public web is that you can actually look up recent events and have up-to-date data and content for that, and you've got complete control over whether or not you want to use public web content. And then finally, one of the big topics for today is for plugins. Now, there you can control exactly which plugins and which graph connectors you want to deploy and who has access to that data that you're actually plugging into. So you've got complete control again as to what external data sources you want to use.
That's right. And a lot of data you and your users use will actually sit outside of Microsoft 365. And there are really two primary extensibility points for that data that sits outside of Microsoft 365. First, you can use grafters to integrate the data sources you want with semantic index for Copilot. This option pre-indexes defined read-only information used for retrieval with your prompts to drive the most relevant AI-generated response. And the second option uses managed and trusted plugins, of which there are three types: OpenAI plugins, Teams message extensions, and Power Platform connectors. And with plugins, instead of pre-indexing information, they optimize for real-time API-based data retrieval, and they can optionally even write back the data. And both of these two can work together even in the same prompt. So let's say that I'm a help desk technician in Microsoft Teams, and I want to respond to all the users facing an issue with DNS. I can write a prompt to Copilot asking to find all of the DNS issues, and then also even to draft me an email that I can use to respond to those users. What this will do is actually take my prompt and then generate a response, in this case pulling information from two different sources: a plugin configured for Jira, which is what we're using for issue tracking, and then also a graph connector for an intranet site, which is what we're using for our knowledge base for help desk. And it responds with the matching ticket. It even gives me the instructions from the article on how to flush DNS and writes me an email that I can use to respond to the user. You'll also see at the end of this that it'll actually reference both the Jira ticket and the KB article, so I know where this information was generated from. And if I scroll up to the top, I can even see an adaptive card that shows me that ticket coming from Jira. And the great thing about this is that it's actually something that I can take action in right here. So I can go ahead and hit Edit Issue. It'll open it up. Let's say that I've already responded to this user, sent them an email, so I need to update the status of this ticket. I can just scroll up, change the status right here. And what's happening is that because this will actually write back to Jira, this will actually update the status of the ticket right from here. And I never even have to leave Teams.
So you have the convenience of read and write in terms of that external data source. So as a Microsoft 365 admin, regardless of which extensibility option you choose, you can control the data sources, you can pinpoint the exact data fields and schema that can be accessed, and even scope down to the users who you want to access it. And by the way, to get a deeper dive into how all of these extensibility options work and see more of it in action, check out Mary's recent shows on how it works and also extensibility for Copilot for Microsoft 365 at aka.ms/m365 Copilot Mechanics after Ignite. And there's a lot more in store here at Microsoft Ignite right after this.